Okay, so hello again, Mrs. Landry again, still in my kitchen. I wanted to show you how to do addition using addition of negative and positive numbers using a number line. Unfortunately, I don't think that this is showing up very well on camera. So I'm going to use, just imagine I have a printed number line, and it's okay to draw these straight up anyway on paper or whatever. I'm going to use my little whiteboard here. Usually we use red and yellow to represent positive and negative when we're doing math with manipulatives, but yellow doesn't show up very well on paper or on anything that you write on this whiteboard, for instance. So I usually use blue to represent positive and red to represent negative. So I'm going to show you that. Let's see, do I have another? Nah, I'll just make everything blue. So let me show you what this looks like. If I did addition, let's say that I wanted to have 2 plus 4. And again, I'm sticking to small numbers. I know that you know how to do these small numbers. I want to show you what this looks like. One of the big things that happens in high school, or what's supposed to happen, is you go from just trying to get answers to trying to explain answers. So let me show you what a number line looks like. This would be a number line that's going to infinity. Again, backwards with the camera, it's hard for me to get used to. So I have a line that goes to infinity. Those arrows on both ends show that. I can now put numbers wherever I want. I'm just going to start over here. Actually, I'm going to put 0 in the middle because it just looks better. 0 is what we call the origin. We call it the origin because that's where we start counting from. We originate all of our math from that point. So you start at 0 and you go from there. So those are my positive numbers. I'm going to put my negative numbers over here. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Now, ooh, that looks kind of sloppy, but okay, so these are the numbers, and this is my number line that I've created. And I'm going to show how to do 2 plus 4 on there. So the first thing that I want you to know is that when I'm doing positive direction, it's going to be going to the right. And when I do negative direction, it will be to the left. So I've got 2 plus 4. At this point, both of those numbers are positive. So when I start at my 0 origin, I just make my 2 steps going this way, and I continue 4 steps more in that direction. So I draw it like this. Now this is when you first start using a number line, you do every single count. You go 1, 2, that's where I'm, my first number, my first addend or my oddend. And then from there I have to go 4 more. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that lands me at 6. And of course, that's something that we all know already. Hold on. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. So we've got that going on. So now let me do what happens, what on earth would happen if I suddenly had negatives mixed in there. Okay, so I have, let's say, for instance, I have 3 plus -5. Okay, and so, and again, I know some of you know how to do this. Those of you who don't, this is for you. I want you to see this. So I have 3, and then I'm going to go -5 more. So how do I represent that on this number line? First, I stand on my origin, which is the 0. And from there, I'm going to take 3 steps in the positive direction. I go 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's my first number, which again, we can call it an addend, or we can call it an oddend. So that's my first number. My next number is 5. I'm now going to switch to red to show, to help clarify that I'm going 5 now in the negative direction. I've gone 3 steps this way. I'm going to continue the journey. I'm still taking 5 steps, except I'm taking 5 steps in this direction. And I'm trying to clarify that because when I show subtraction, I want you to see and understand all of this because it gets weird. So I've got 3 going this way. So now I have to have 5 going this way in the negative direction. So from here, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Notice 3, take away 3, or 3 plus negative 3 gets me back to 0. But I've still got 2 more to go. So that's negative 4, negative 5. This is where I end up. So when I have 3 plus negative 5, my answer is negative 2. Okay, let me show you another one. Okay, because sometimes the Augean first number is negative. So let's say that my math problem now is, let's do negative 5. Negative 5 plus 9. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at, negative 5 plus 9, and I'm trying to figure out how to work this. Again, you've seen this stuff before. I know you have in some of your other classes. And some of you are real comfortable with this, and some of you don't know what's going on. So if you already know how to do this, don't just fuss and say, I'm bored. Move on to something else. So I'm going to start here at my 0. This is my origin. This is where I stand. My first number is my negative 5. So that means I'm taking 5 steps, but I'm taking them in the negative direction. So I start off going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my Augean is negative 5, right? Now from there, I'm going to go 9 more steps. But those 9 more steps are in the positive direction. So I'm going to go that way, in the more direction, in the plus direction. So from right here, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so this is where I end up. So negative 5 plus 9 is positive 4. Okay, so this is using a number line. And again, this is really just a refresher for most of you guys, because I know that you know how to do this, but I wanted you to see that. So we have counters, we have number lines, and we also have math problems that we can use, composing and decomposing, that I can show you as a review in another video. These are already kind of long. So I wanted you to see this, and the reason why I want you to see all of this is because you've got your counters and you've got number lines, and I want to actually assign work where you show me this. I know a bunch of you can go straight to the answer. I can go straight to the answer. That's not the important thing. The important thing is I want you to understand this journey, this back and forth, this movement, the adding and taking away of tiles. Because I want you to do more than just a procedure. I want you to have it, try to understand what's happening. Because when you truly understand it, you don't have to memorize anything. Okay, so we're going to practice that a little bit. And I know that this is kind of what's the word I'm looking for? This is something that's kind of easy and kind of maybe, I don't want to say boring. I'm trying to not say boring, but this is stuff that some of you aren't going to want to do. But I want to practice this a few times and make sure that we really understand it, and then we'll get into all the other stuff. We still have to keep going with our book. So I'm not trying to get away from doing the book, but I want you to practice this and keep practicing this, because I want this to be second nature to you. And I want you to feel really good about negative numbers. Again, I know fractions and negatives are the hardest things coming out of middle school. And so I want y'all to have just, you know, a really good foundation, because I want y'all to be in good shape for 8th grade. I'm sorry, I'm talking a whole lot because I'm very, very tired. I'm going to send both of those videos your way. I want you to look at both of them, and I'm going to attach a small, brief little assignment with it that's going to be due at 10 o'clock. And I will see you guys in a couple of days. Okay, goodbye.